Isiah.
How you doing, sir?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, thank you.
How are you feeling after tonight?
I feel great, you feel me? Body's a little beat up, but anything to get that win, you feel me? So that's all that matters. So 35-7, that's the outcome we wanted.
It was a defensive slugfest early on.
For sure.
The offense took a second to get going for both teams. And then when it looked like it kind of opened the door, your offense took off, but their offense did not. How did you guys limit them the rest of the night after that?
Yeah, so after the first half, you know, it was a 14-7 game. It was a defensive battle then. We just kind of needed the offense to start going, and we believe in our offense. So we had no doubts in mind that they were going to get it going in the second half. So all we had to do is just keep doing our job and not get complacent. And honestly, the second group in our defense is not really much of a drop-off. So we expect the same things from the first group and the second group. So.
You guys had that touchdown, they scored at the end of the half.
Right.
Obviously, that's never a great feeling for the defense, but you came out, no more points after that.
Yeah.
What was the message at halftime, and how did you guys just step it right back up?
That was disappointing. We let a touchdown up at half, but 7 points for a half, that's always a great feeling. You feel me? Not letting up more than one touchdown. So our, recipe just for success was we just got to keep stopping the run. They're a run-heavy team, and when they set up the pass, we just got to defend it well. So we ended up executing that, and we got the win from it.
Our fans in the world got to know a little bit about Gata last week. Coach Nesbitt broke it down in a way that could still be posted. And it certainly seemed like that was even more evident tonight. It felt like every time that quarterback dropped back, especially in the second half, you guys were after it. What was that pressure like, and how did that really allow you guys to just shut them down?
Well, we're a blitz-heavy team, so, we rely on pressure a lot. So us getting pressure on the quarterback, it rattles him, it makes him get out of his reads, it makes him have to scramble around, and he was a scrambling quarterback, as you guys know. He's running around the pocket, so whatever we could do just to get to him, throw him off his game, that's what we wanted to do today.
When we looked at who was available this week, there were some names, some heavy contributors that weren't available. But that didn't seem, as you said, no big drop off. What does that mean, that everybody on that defense is locked in?
It just means that we're all on the same page, and at the end of the day, if we're not going to be able to have them guys, we got to be able to move forward and put the same product on the field. You feel me? So it doesn't matter to me or to the team who's on the field. It's just how we execute. And we're a tight-knit group, and everybody knows their assignment. And because of that, we're able to execute with good intentions, bad intentions, And yeah, we got it done today. My fault.
Good intentions for you.
Bad intentions for the other team. Yeah.
That's right. James, do you have any questions?
Guys really set the tone early today. What do you think the key was there, especially in the mindset part, especially when the offense wasn't working well?
Just staying fresh, because as you saw, we got I think it was 3 or 4 3-and-outs to begin the first quarter, and then offense started giving it right back. So we just had to stay fresh, stay ready for whatever that was going to happen. And with that, we stopped the run. They had a couple explosive plays, but other than that, I feel like we got the job done.
First road game coming up. What's that preparation going like?
We got to get ready for the road. The dudes who haven't traveled, haven't had that experience being on the road for 16 hours on a bus. But other than that, I don't think anything changes. We just got to go out there, execute our game plan, and be the same team we always are.
Well, hopefully you load up on some good entertainment for that 16-hour bus ride.
Of course, yeah. We got some stuff planned. Little Fridays, all that. Fridays, Friday 1, Friday 2, you feel me? But yeah.
It's a good way to kill some time.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you so much, sir.
Enjoy the win, and we'll see you here in a couple weeks.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, Dominic, first game for you.
Yes, sir.
You showed out pretty good. What does that feel like?
Feels great. A lot of training all season, so it was good to see it. I'll put their performance.
Coming out tonight, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
7 yards per carry. This is the 3rd straight week that OUAZ has had a leading rusher, and not for lack of yards, right? It's because each guy goes out there and fights hard every night.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean to get that 7 yards per carry and those 2 touchdowns?
All credit go to my line and God. All day, I told them, I said, I don't think I've seen holes like that since senior year of high school. I said, and they made it real easy for me. All credit goes to my line. I told them to get them some end of the year, for sure.
So we'll get these guys in here at some point. Whether they want to talk or not, we'll get them sitting.
Yeah, I'd love to have them right here, seriously.
So what did that feel like, scoring those 2 touchdowns?
It felt great. It was a relief, to know that, like I said, all the training and all season is paid off. Coach Nesbitt calls the right calls at the right time. You know, offense executed really well, and like again, the offensive line did their thing, and ain't nobody but God as well. So
early on in this game, it was a defensive slugfest. Then y'all finally broke through, scored those 2 touchdowns, 14-7 at the half, and as it seemed that their offense continued to stall, yours continued to reach that next level. How did you guys continue to reach that next level and really put the game away?
Oh, it's the way we practice. We practice with intensity. Every day of the week, every day that end with the letter Y, we out there getting it. So definitely, it's definitely how we practice.
Questions from anyone?
Dominic, most of your damage happened in the second half when you really started getting touches. How did you stay ready, especially when you had no carries in the first half, to be ready for
I'm sorry. I go by what my uncle always tells me. When an opportunity presents itself, it's too late to prepare. That's the biggest quote that I've been living by forever now. So that's really what kept me going. That and my dad had a stroke a couple years ago, and so I'm always thinking about him struggling, trying to walk again and stuff like that. So whenever I even feel like I'm tired, I just think of my pops, and I get in a different type of zone. So, yeah.
Speaking of your pops, he gave you an amazing name, with a unique spelling and a great meaning behind it. First, can you spell?
Oh yeah.
Can you spell Dominic for the rest of the country, and then give us the meaning behind it?
Okay, so it's Domonic. My middle name is Emmanuel, which in the Bible means God is with you, God is with I, God is with us. Domo means thank you in Japan. So, you know, my dad, being a previous pastor in his past life, we put it together and say, thank you, God is with you, with us, with I. So every time I walk and every time I'm going through a struggle, like that's always in my mind. Like it really, on a daily basis, keeps me going. So that's the meaning of it.
And we appreciate you sharing that with us. Any final questions? I do have one more. Road game next week. What's that preparation going to be like, especially since you guys have spent all September at home?
Consistency. Going to practice every day with intensity. Back setting the tone every day of practice, doing what we can do. With Coach Johnson, our running backs coach, getting us going and standing on our butt to keep going. So we got a good backfield, and like you see every week, everybody can take the load at any time. So just stay consistent. Yes, sir.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate your time and looking forward to seeing you guys next week, but back here at Spirit Field in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
All right. Well, a big night for the defense. You guys really shut down Nelson when the game really mattered the most coming out of halftime.
Right.
What was that like for your unit, and how did you guys just continue to keep the foot on the gas?
I mean, we knew we had them watching film on them. We knew they were a clock managing team. We know we just had to come out there and play smash mouth football. Came out first quarter, we knew that they were trying to run the ball. They came out empty set. We checked to that, and we realized that they were just trying to run the ball, and we know we were a more physical team, so we established that early.
Your numbers really jump off the page. 11 tackles, 7 solo tackles, and a sack. What was this night like for you, and how did you just keep going, especially in the open field?
Right, man, I got to give all glory to God, man. I was just going out there and having fun, you know, honestly. Been playing defense my whole life, you know what I'm saying? This is not my first time having multi-tackles games, you know what I'm saying? But it's just my multi-tackle game here, you know what I'm saying? It's just establishing my name, you know what I'm saying? Coming in as a transfer, wanted to make myself known, you know what I'm saying, in this conference. So, you know what I'm saying, that's pretty much it.
Early on, it was a defensive slugfest. And then slowly your offense pulled away as you guys continued to stay consistent.
Right.
How were you guys able to kind of keep the tone and eventually let your offense get to their peak while getting to your peak early?
Right. We just have to go out there and just continue to keep on stopping them. Just the big focus was the offense started off pretty slow, but we believe in our team, believe in our offense. Just had to keep on feeding them energy, giving them stops, you know what I'm saying? Getting the Sagu off the field, you know what I'm saying, and putting our offense and giving them as many opportunities as they, you know what I'm saying, could have.
The touchdown before half, it made it a one-score game. And you guys came out of the half and just picked it right back up and got even better. What was that message like at halftime, and how did you guys execute?
I mean, you know what I'm saying, the explosive before halftime, they put them in position to score, you know what I'm saying, that wasn't nothing but a, you know what I'm saying, a mistake, you know what I'm saying, mistakes happen, but we know what type of brand of defense that we play here at OUAZ, and we just had to come out there and keep on, you know what I'm saying, playing good defense because, you know what I'm saying, before the end of the second quarter, you know what I'm saying, they had goose egg on the, you know what I'm saying, scoreboard, so we had to come out there and just continue to do what we do, you know what I'm saying, and this week coming in, we know we had to limit the explosives because that was the only thing that killed us. But making the team drive down the field on us, they can't do that, and we proved that tonight.
Your defensive teammates and Coach Nesbitt gave us a little bit of insight into what Coach Dominguez's Gata is.
Right.
And you guys did that a lot, especially in that second half. I mean, it felt like every time that quarterback dropped back, he was running away.
Right.
How did you guys continue to pursue the ball and make that uncomfortable in the pocket?
Right. I mean, Coach D preaches just, you know what I'm saying, be tenacious out there, run after the ball, Gator, you know what I'm saying. We preach that at practice, we run to the ball. If we run to the ball, good things will happen. And, you know what I'm saying, this week, you know what I'm saying, that happened. You know what I'm saying, as you see.
Any questions? No? Road game next week. First one, you guys have spent all September at home. What's that preparation like, and how do you guys continue the momentum?
Keep the main thing on the road, you know what I'm saying, distractions can happen, you know what I'm saying, but keeping the main thing, and just going out there and just playing our brand of football, really, honestly. That's all we really have to do is just keep on rolling on, you know what I'm saying, believing in us. It's us versus us. Nobody is as good as us, you know what I'm saying. We got to go out there and establish the tempo early, offense and defense, and continue to do what we do.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, sir.
Vicious.
Yes, sir.
Second straight game where you had a big touchdown.
Yes, sir.
And it came at a really important time as well as your offense was trying to find its groove. What can you tell us about that touchdown, and how did that push you guys into the next level as you went on?
Our first quarter, we really struggled coming out, really flat, couldn't convert a first down. I just remember all of us coming together as a group, we talking to each other, making sure that don't worry about the first quarter, we can move on from that. Second quarter, we can go, and once we find our groove in our offense, we're flying. So we had great blocks from up front from our linemen, great throw from Luke, everyone else doing their job, everyone doing their 111th. I saw that.
Luke had another solid scoring night, three more touchdowns. What can you say about your quarterback and how he's able to deliver the balls, especially in the important areas like the red zone?
Yeah, the thing about Luke, he's a great guy, but on the field, but he's also a great guy off the field. He works hard. He works harder than a lot of people on this team, and the rewards show. Like when he's out there, you can see all the film hours he puts in, all the work he puts in. It goes and shows. Yeah.
Your running back room, in a good way, seems to have a leading rusher every game. It's the third straight game with a new leading rusher. It's not because guys are only getting 40 yards. It's because you got three guys capable of ripping off 100.
Yeah.
Tonight, what can you say about Dom in his first game and how Dominic really put it together?
I really love Dom. That boy, he's a dog. One thing about him is that's another person who he had a bit of a struggle in the first fall camp. He wasn't really, I would say, not really getting the opportunities that I feel like he deserved. But when he gets his opportunity, he makes sure to seize it and he goes 100%.
I was just pointing out earlier all of his attempts coming in the second half.
Yep.
He certainly made the most of 30 minutes.
Yes, sir. When he gets in there, he makes an impact for sure.
And what about Jalen? I mean, second straight game, he's got over 100 yards. He's been asked to do pretty much everything, and he's done it without an issue. What is it like to have a guy like that in your life? That
man does not go down. You will never tackle him with one person, and that's what I really love about Jalen. It's going to take 2-3 people to tackle him, and when after that first contact, he's going to get at least 5 more yards after that, and that's why I love Jalen. He's a hard runner. He had it last year. He was ineligible, so he wasn't able to play. So it's really good that we got him this year to back up Giron whenever he gets back and all that. So then we have a 1-2 and now 3 running back powerhouse, just like last year.
We saw last week what happens when you try to tackle Jalen singularly, and sometimes the helmet or the paint comes off your helmet.
Yep.
Very hard to bring down.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions from you guys?
How do you? I felt like a couple plays early in the game. It felt like you felt you were open and used towards seeing your route. Maybe got a little frustrated with Not just that you didn't get it, but just that the situation, right? You're running a good play, you think you're open, play doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
How do you keep your mentality and to know that I got to keep doing this because we're going to hit one?
I know eventually we're gonna get the ball, whether to me, whether to our Terry, whether to Brandon, whether to Grant. We have 4 amazing receivers on that field. One of us is gonna get that ball, and one of us is gonna make that play. So I might have been a little frustrated because our offense wasn't producing how it's supposed to produce, but no matter what, once we get that ball rolling, we gonna be rolling.
How did you guys end up finding that next level, right? Like you said, like you flushed the next quarter, but as Nelson's offense continued to be stifled, you guys slowly but surely stacked that lead. And how did you build that confidence?
I honestly think it was the run game, because we couldn't at first, the first quarter, we couldn't get nothing in our run game, like 1 or 2 yards a pop, and then at the same time, D linemen are tipping the balls every pass that we're trying to throw. So it was really the run game. Once we were able to get 5-10 yards, actually move the chains, get a couple first downs, then we can go take that shot down the field. That's what happened. We were running the ball. We ran the ball 3-4 times, picked up chunk plays, 20, 30, and then we hit me on the little fake block to a touchdown.
Road game, first one of the year. You've been at home.
Yep.
How do you guys get comfortable being uncomfortable in a different situation and pick up a win on the road so you can come back?
Just doing everything the same. Everything week in, week out, everything day in, day out. Sunday, we're going to come in tomorrow, we're going to meet, we're going to watch film on them. Tuesday is going to be a regular Tuesday, Wednesday going to be a regular Wednesday, and then we're going to go out there and dominate like we do every Saturday.
Excellent. Well, we always appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you next week on the road.
Yes, sir.
Back here at Spirit Field.
Yes, sir. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Luke, appreciate your time as always.
Yes, sir.
Another good night for you, even though it took a second to get going, 3 touchdowns. For you as a quarterback, how do you keep your head up and how do you just keep things going? And as DeVicious said, right, like eventually you're going to get one.
Yeah.
But how do you get through the times where you feel like you're never going to get one?
First quarter was a really tough quarter for the offense. We just couldn't get nothing going. I feel like, part of it's on me. I was missing a couple deep balls, not putting enough air on it. It's something that I got to work on. Even though I had 3 touchdowns, I feel like I left too many points up on the board.
When you finally did get points on the board, you threw for 3 touchdowns. The 3 different guys we talked about last week, how you spread the ball around and you did it again. Jalen, obviously, out of the backfield, and then DeVicious and Terry. What is it like to have receivers and guys and pass catchers that no matter who you throw it to them because they're open and they're going to make that play?
Yeah, it's truly grateful to have those guys. Those guys are truly amazing route runners and receivers. I just had an off night tonight. It's something that I got to work on mechanics-wise. A couple of the balls I threw were just short, and it's something that I got to work on. I left too many balls on the ground that's catchable balls that I got to make it to my receivers because they're running good routes. I just got to make better passes to them.
Third straight week that you've had a different leading rusher, and it's not because they're not gaining yards, it's because they can't stop gaining yards. What can you say about Dominic's performance, especially since
we have a deep running back room? It goes all the way from Jadon Lester, Jalen McGee, Stubbs, and Dominic. Those guys, they're truly amazing in practice. Those guys really run the ball hard. So, it's anybody on that in the roster in the RB room can be number 1 easily. It's a very tough running back room. Everybody in that room is really, really good. So whoever put out there is going to perform.
What can you say about Jalen, who's done pretty much everything that's been asked of him in his first 3 games? And we've seen him excel in multiple different roles. How does he keep working, and what is it like to have a guy in that room that can just do it all?
Really, really a tough running back. He runs the ball hard. Same as Dominic Jennings. Both of them ran the ball hard today. Both of them give tremendous amount of effort. They both want to score the ball. They want to get first downs for us. And I'm truly grateful for those guys because they got to pick up the pass protection and they also got to run back to back. And even though they're tired, they're still getting plus yards. So I truly reward those guys and everybody in that running back room.
really a huge play in this game, up 14-7.
Mm-hmm.
Get a punt block, but return for a touchdown. It's called back. In your mind, you went from, oh no, this game's probably tied,
Mm-hmm.
to within 10 to 15 seconds, you got to get your helmet back on and get back out there to get in the end zone, and you do. How do you, how'd you pick your guys up, and how did that unit just say, okay, we have our opportunity and take advantage of it?
You know, luckily we got a holding penalty called on that field goal, so that really helped out a lot. And like when we go back on offense, we gotta score. Like we can't have no more field goals like throughout the season. We just gotta put more points on the board. And I think it all starts with me. I'm not, even though I'm playing good games and stuff, I'm not playing where I want to play. I'm not playing that high caliber quarterback right now in my mind. Even though I put up good numbers and I throw like for multiple touchdowns, I feel like I could put up a lot more. And I just got to work on myself and practice a lot more, or even out of practice and work on my mechanics and get the ball rolling a lot more, put more points on the board.
And you were right. I appreciate the correction. It was on a field goal attempt, not a punt block. But either way, you were able to take advantage of the extra opportunity. And you stuck true to your word on no more field goals. You guys scored touchdowns with us away. James, anything? Josh, anything? Road game this week, first one of the year. You guys have been at home since fall camp. How do you guys flip the switch to a road game, and how do you guys prepare for this upcoming week?
Well, we got Wayland up next. They had a huge win tonight against Louisiana Christian, so you know that's a big win for them. So we got to truly prepare for them because it's not no cakewalk with them. They beat a top team in the conference, so we gotta go work. I have to get better as a quarterback. You know, I got to deliver the ball a lot more to my receivers, make them catchable balls, and I just got to put a lot more touchdowns on the board than what I'm putting on right now.
Excellent. Appreciate your time, Luke. Looking forward to seeing you on the field next week.
Yes, sir.
In 2 weeks here at Spirit.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Coach, early on in this game, it was a defensive slugfest. No points in that first quarter, but your offense got it going in the second. They got 2 touchdowns. First, what can you say about your defense for just continuing?
Oh, fantastic tonight. Fantastic night. That was kind of, going into it, I really thought our defense was going to be in a good spot playing against these guys. I really did. They played so well against them last year, and Coach D and that group just did a fantastic job. I think last year we had like 70 yards or something like that last year. So I was pretty confident about the way they played. New offensive coordinator, new group. A guy that's seen them before as players and coaches. And so I was really, happy. I expected them to do it because just by the way they practiced this week. And then on the flip side, I was thankful for how hard they played early because it made them struggle, and it kept us in the game. And then we had a couple good punts and some things on special teams that made those guys go on a long field. And even though we had the drop punt and gave them a short field, we hold them to a field goal and then they miss it, right? That was, as you talk about, right? I know it's 35-7 at the end, but you talk about a big play, momentum swing, right? You get a stop there. Then you go get a drive, you put some points on the board, you do some things, and then, we catch them, they get the blocked field goal, and they get the defensive holding, they cheated on the play, we get it called back, and then we convert. So, but defensively though, just the effort at the quarterback and taking away the slow screens and the slow RPOs, the way our guys, you could tell they were so well coached tonight that they're running the slow RPO slip screen, and our guys took 2 steps upfield, and then they all stopped and they matched the receiver as they were running it, right? That is great game planning by our defensive staff and Jerry and those kids, and then it's the kids going out and executing it. That was what was really cool to see because they do a lot of crazy stuff, and if you have bad eyes or anything, it turns into a big play. So it was neat. It was really exciting to see how those guys took the scouts and all that stuff from the week and just transferred it over to Saturday night. It was fun to see.
The 2 momentum plays that you mentioned, both of them, the missed field goal that, the drop punt could have been a lot uglier than it was.
Yeah.
And then the block field that gets turned back and you immediately score. What is it like, especially with that latter play that your offense was able to go from, okay, we're tied, to, hey, we get this extra opportunity, let's take advantage, and that's exactly.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the drop punt. So this afternoon, before we went to pregame meal, I'm watching USC and Wisconsin, and I got a thing on game day. There's two things, right? A kickoff return for a touchdown, right? Especially if it's somebody I'm kind of rooting for, or a drop punt or blocked field goal, right? So I'm watching USC, Wisconsin, so I'm rooting for USC. Right? And I watched it wasn't coughable. It wasn't that bad. Why are you coughing? Because I was rooting for USC. That's unbelievable. I don't know why you would do that. Well, anyway, okay. So anyway, he muffs the punt, and it goes between his legs, and I'm just like, golly, I hope that doesn't happen to us tonight. And then I always say that if I say that, I'm going to be scared to death that we're going to do it for 4 quarters, and then son of a gun, we did it, right? And we drop it. And so just getting the stop there, because if they score there, now we have a different animal, because now they're on the road. They got belief. They took a turnover in. I don't even think they got a yard or two after the drop punt. So, right, we stone them there, and then we make them kick the long field goal, and the guy misses it. We're hot, So at that point, it was good. It was exciting. And then, it's good. I mean, it's one of those calls, right, that if an official's not doing his job, right, the official's not doing his job and doesn't have his eyes in the right place, they don't call the defensive holding on that, which sometimes they don't ever call. The guy blocks the kick, they run it back for a touchdown. Well, now we're in a different game, right? But we have an official doing a great job, somebody watching it, they make the correct call, and then what do? We get the ball on the first down, and we go in and we score, right? And then we don't have to kick a field goal there. Big play. Big play when a team's on the road. So it was a little bit of it all, right, in that standpoint, because you had people that were in the stripes actually doing their job, right? If those guys don't do their job and make the correct call, then we're in a different fight going into that second half for sure.
Obviously the refs saw it. What did you see on that play that constituted the holding? Was it just?
Well, they snatched their guard. So they've done it before. So they come up and they snatch the guard, and then they twist the guy and run him through. They don't hit the center, so they stay off the center, but they take your left guard, they pull him down, right, and then they run a guy through, which is a great play on their part and they've done it before, and it's an awesome play, because if you get someone asleep at the wheel and doesn't see it, then that blocks a touchdown, because it'll be a touchdown if they block it, because they have a guy in the A gap for the block, and then they have 2 scoop and score guys running for the football. So you're not going to stop them at that point. So it's good coaching on Nelson's part, and thank goodness that there was an official that was Johnny on the spot and made the right call.
Well, that official saw it pretty much right away. That flag was in his pocket.
It's quick.
The field goal was blocked. But off that play, once you got that touchdown on the second chance, you continued to pile it on. That's when Dom gets his touchdown to make it 28, scores again to make it 35. How did the offense find its groove and really continue to push as the defense was holding Nelson, right? They were plateauing.
Yeah.
Your offense just continued to slow.
Well, it happened on DeVicious's catch, because we had those routes. We had a route with Terry. We had 3 routes with Terry again, where we don't connect or we don't run the right stem or whatever the situation would be. And we missed the vicious twice, right, where it was maybe someone not being Johnny on the spot, maybe a possible tug and a hold a couple times, or he gets tripped and falls down and we kind of overthrow it. Just like against Texas College. If we can start hitting the vertical ball against man coverage the way we do, we're going to be okay, because that's probably another 14 to 21 points we should have. It changes the first quarter for sure, right, because they're going to play all man coverage. But DeVicious's catch on the post to start in the third quarter, that generated the energy to get going. And then it's kind of that deal, right? Once we can get the first down in the drive, then we can go fast and we can go quick. And then we were able to get in some no subs personnel, which we had them a little bit where they didn't have the personnel on the field probably that he wanted. And we were able to stay out there because our guys stayed in bounds and didn't go down or anything like that. And then we had a really good one. We went formation into the boundary there in the third quarter, and we were able to get 3 runs, and they were misaligned to it, and it was just the right call, the right time, and Luke made 3 great checks that drive and got us to the right play and put us in some great scenarios. And so, and part of it too is with Nelson, we knew there was going to be some stuff that we'd seen before, but knock on wood, right, when Luke gets the picture and he can see it over and over and he can call the game at the line of scrimmage, we're a lot better team when he's calling it at the line of scrimmage than us trying to force stuff for him, for sure.
Third straight week, with the leading rusher, and the third time that leading rusher's had 100+ yards.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Dominic. What has he done, right? First game of the year. What a coming out party. How did he get prepared and how did he execute?
Well, it's great. We kind of thought that when we signed him over the summer coming in, that we thought he was going to kind of be that next big body, the Chris Ewings, the Josh Vizcaya guy that can get downhill and run people over, and to make the one cut and then get vertical and get to the backers right away. We were hoping that was going to be him. And so it was good to see, coming in, being fresh, the whole deal, and that with first game out of the books, but we knew he had it in him. And so it was just getting through some other hurdles to get him ready to play, and he did a really good job. So and he's worked hard since he's been here. It's tough to be a transfer here. Our transfer guys, it's hard. They come in, they got to learn a new offense, they got to learn a new system, they got to be around all new coaches, different environment, different practice habits, different schedule, and our guys work hard. And so when you're a new player here, you're going to have to earn your stripes, and tonight he got to that point where he deserved to play. So he did a great job. He didn't let the bus pass him by, that's for sure.
Jalen also had 100 yards. We had him up here last week.
Yeah.
And in 3 games, he's done a lot for you guys, and not everything has shown up on the stat sheet for it. What is it like to have him? He scored on a reception tonight as well. So what is it like to have him and a guy like that's just going to do whatever, whenever, and win?
Yeah, it's good. That position group right now, we've got a group of guys. Jalen's kind of that guy that's getting more touches at it. But, you got a guy like him. You got a guy like Colin McClure in there. You got Mike Anderson that are playing 3 different positions now, and we're moving those guys all over the place. And they're doing such a bunch of dirty work, for the whole team that some of it's not showing up, but it's showing up on the film and it's showing up in the win column for sure, because those guys are doing it. So that it's hard, because that F has to be kind of that unselfish guy. And then when the guy goes from F back to A, or A to tight end, or wherever we move him, those guys have got to do a little bit of it all. So, I thought that was pretty good for sure. And then I thought Andrew Cannon played really well tonight. It's going to be interesting to see it at tight end, but as a new guy, a redshirt freshman stepping up, I think he's doing a great job. And, he got into some really good run checks tonight, and he handled it really well. So it was good to see. Those 2 position groups, our A's, our F's, and our Y's are doing some great stuff.
Back to your defense, before we get to individual guys, they were chasing that quarterback all around the field tonight. I'm serious, like 5, 6 different plays. I look up from my computer, and you got a free runner, and that guy's running for his life. What were some of those keys? And I know this is probably a better question for Coach Dominguez, but some of those keys that they picked up on that allowed him to get that pass rush.
Well, the big one is continuing to the play, because they were going to leave an unblocked guy. They were going to do some RPO stuff, right? And that was why his drop was so deep, and he was just going to hold it. So we were able to assign a guy to him to kind of just attack him with Ferg and Corey and those guys to get him going. And then we were able to match everything at the line of scrimmage where we were. So it was some good stuff with that, just their over effort. Like, I'll pound the table for him. He's still going to run them like crazy on Tuesday and Monday and Wednesday, but I'll pound the table, because if they get a shutout, those guys don't have to run. They don't have to do their GAD as their punishment run for lack of effort. But I thought those guys defensively had a lot of effort. So you defensive guys, I'm pounding the table for you tonight. I don't think you guys should run on Tuesday and Wednesday night. Coach D's still going to run you, because you had a penalty, and you know who had the penalty, but I'm not going to say his name. But anyway, I pounded the table for you guys. He's still going to run you, but you don't deserve to run, I don't think. But he's going to run you.
What about the way the defense responded, right? The touchdown at the end of the half.
Yeah.
It can be demoralizing, but they came out and they just continued to push Nelson down farther and farther. What was that response?
Well, I think it was good. It was one play. We had a busted coverage on it. The 2 guys thought one was talking to the other one when we moved the secondary. And so if we stay where we were supposed to stay, and they get the call from Coach D the way they're supposed to, we match the route. They don't get the big play. And then, I think it was a little bit of them being out there a long time. I put that a little bit on us offensively too, right? They were out there a long time in that first half, and that one big play kind of gets them to it. But and then what I was happy about, though, we made them snap it 4 times to get down there, right? They had to work to get it, and then was a little close on did he get over on that second down play, right? So I was happy. As long as they keep making them snap it and they don't give them anything cheap, that's what you want from your defense every time.
Tyler Ivey, 11 tackles, 7 solo, a sack.
Yeah.
What was his performance like?
Fantastic. It was fantastic. Fantastic to see him. We added him on some special teams. He's a lot like Dom in that standpoint, right? He's just gotten better every week he's been here. He improved, and then all of a sudden, man, he's playing the way he wants to play. I mean, it's awesome, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's funny, too, because his dad and I actually played for the Shreveport Pirates together. And so when I first met him, it was cool to meet him, and his dad was here at the game tonight. And but just watching a guy that's another new face, new guy in the building that has some desire for this team to be good and excel on defense and buy into it. And it's good. It's good to see those guys get rewarded, for coming here and becoming an OUAZ guy, and it's neat to see.
One last question before I open it up. Arvell literally had one of everything: 1 tackle, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass breakup, 1 QB hurry.
Yeah.
What has he been like in the addition to your defense?
Oh, great. Fantastic. But see, it's kind of that thing like we talked about, right? We all knew last year, once Arvell played the first season, we knew the second season was going to be great. The transfer guy always has a hard time playing consistent when they first get here. It's the second season you see the transfer guy really develop and get into it because he's in the weight room 12 months. He's around the defense. He's in the system. He understands the practice. He understands the meetings, the schedule. Nothing beats him up anymore. Just knows how to go. And so Arvell's playing really the way we expected Arvell to play, and he's going to get better. And it helps because now he's got Corey on the other side, right? And then you picked up another defensive lineman interior this week, and you get that whole package of all those guys working together with Cotton and Mateo around him and Ivy and those guys blitzing and doing all that stuff that you only get 2 days to practice. It's a pretty good team, pretty good defensive unit for sure.
Before we get to a question from our OUAZspirit.com reporter, do we have any other questions from the floor?
Coach, so far we have seen different offensive performances through these first 3 games. The opener, it was the run game. Last week, it was the passing game. This week, back to the running game. How do you feel, how helpful is it to have the players that can adapt and change the different game plans depending on what the defense is giving you?
No, it's really good. I mean, and that's the secret of, and everybody knows we're going to do it. I mean, we're built that way. Our quarterbacks are built that way. They've got to be able to check. They got to be able to move people around. They got to get into the flow of what we want them to do. But they're really going to manipulate it at a point in time, right? I mean, we went everything from 2 tight end sets tonight to 2 back run to offset back to wings. Some of it with the same personnel out on the field. And so, I mean, a lot of it, I mean, offensively for us is some guys doing a great job of coaching those kids, getting them in some good spots, right? And then it's the players understanding, hey, this is one, right? This is kind of the beginning point of the game plan. And then, okay, what's the adjustment to the adjustment? Once we get out there and we see what they're going to do defensively, how can we adjust and get into the flow of where we need to be? And I thought our guys did a really good job because this was a good test for us tonight. A lot of man coverage, a lot of bare front, took away some of the stuff that we thought we were going to be able to get, trapped some guys downfield on some post routes. And so it was that kind of just have to knuckle up and find some different ways to move the football, and the guys adapted well. So it was fun. It's good to see, I mean, when they can do that, right? I mean, that's what you want your kids to do. Your kids have got to be offensively for sure to be able to go out there and change calls and put people in the right position to be successful. So it's good.
Travel in this league is no joke. You're going to spend a lot of time on a bus this week.
Yes.
You guys are going to do it for the first time. And then outside of that, when you get to the place you're going, the environment you play in is not like what you play here.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of keep them focused and prepared and ready for, we're going to get on a bus for a long time, we're going to play in a different environment, but we have a job to do?
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. Wayland had a big win this weekend. They were up by 21 over Louisiana Christian, and Marcos over there, he's done a great job with that group since he's took over for Coach Henderson. He's got a really good offensive coordinator and that has done a great job. And so that group of coaches over there, It's not the Wayland we've probably seen the last 6 or 7 years. There might be a little bit more fan involvement. We're actually playing a later game. We're not kicking off till 4 over there. We're not playing that 11 a.m., 1 o'clock kick, right, where people are maybe still just coming in from Lubbock and not really getting up. And, I'm not saying that the Wayland Baptist kids do that, but we'll see, right? Or people are going to the Tech game instead of coming to Plainview and watch it. So, I don't know. Sometimes I think our guys like to travel, right? I mean, we're going to get up on Friday morning at 3:30 in the morning and load the bus and drive up to the top of the hill and have breakfast burritos at a Maverick in Holbrook, and then we're going to go to the Golden Corral in Albuquerque and probably stop in Amarillo and have barbecue at a barbecue place, and then try to sleep in a little bit on Saturday. And so the one thing I think our guys have always done, even when we bust it, and we've had some bus trips where the buses have broken down and things have been tough and the whole thing, but our guys have never complained about it, right? They never gripe, they never moan about it. They're always positive, and then at some point, I think they kind of get excited to go someplace else and play a game. And so I think it's kind of that crazy thing that our guys maybe, right? They might not like it on the way home when we get off that bus Sunday morning at 6 a.m., but they enjoy why we're going, and we have a good time, and the kids handle it well, and so it's hopefully, with a bunch of new players and new coaches and the whole thing, it'll be a different environment. And 4 o'clock in Plainview, hopefully, you never know. It could be 110 degrees. It could be snowing by the next week. Who knows? So, but we'll be ready to go because it's a good group, and they're going to be flying high because they played really well. We actually had that game on before we went to pregame meal. And they're well coached at Wayland, and they're doing a great job. And that was a huge win, right? They took a playoff team at home that I don't know, maybe they've beaten one time, maybe they haven't beaten them all since those guys joined the league. And they scored, 49, 48 points on them. And they had control of it, and they had a kick and onside. So we better get excited to go to Plainview, Texas for sure.
Question. Head coach Alex Duftin from OUAZspirit.com. I'm here tonight again representing the city of Surprise and all of the fans of OUAZ and OUAZ football. Not many people know this, Coach, but your son is an Emmy Award winner for his work on a piece on the Uvalde school shooting. As a matter of fact, he's won an Emmy before Jodie Foster, right? Talk to us a little bit about how proud you are of your son and how it feels on most days, to be the third most famous person in the Nesbitt household behind him and your wife.
Oh, that's a horrible question.
I got permission.
Oh my gosh, that's a horrible question. Man, well, it's I'm happy to be the third most famous person in that family. I can tell you that. It's funny you said it, because last night my wife was reading a story that she had been messing around with, and it was about our early days as a family, and coaching and traveling and getting into the business and being dirt poor and taking jobs for less money because we thought maybe they were going to be better jobs and better opportunities. And Gavin has been with it from the time he was born. He's been in the football field house and a locker room and traveled and made moves. And those two guys have, as a family, there's not a day goes by that I don't know how much they have sacrificed for me to get to hang out with a bunch of kids for 12 months out of the year and coach and do what I truly like to do, and those guys are awesome. And then, last year, a lot of people didn't know. So the Emmy was last year during Panhandle State, during senior night. And I had looked about trying to figure out a way to move the game or move it up where I could get on a plane and get to Houston in time to see his award. And we didn't know if he was going to win or not, right? And so all that happens. And well, anyway, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law all came to the game because my wife ended up, one of us were going to go to Houston because I couldn't go. And so she was able to go. And my nephew ran out on the field during pregame warm-up while we were doing routes on air and came over and told me that Gavin had won his Emmy. And the pride I have in Gavin for winning that Emmy it's unbelievable, okay? Because him and his team, for the people that don't know the story, is they were one of the first television crews on the scene that day in Uvalde, Texas. When the school shooting happened that day, they were actually in South San Antonio. They were covering another story, and they weren't very far. And so him and his reporter were the first ones, one of the first ones to get sent there, probably about the time and a little bit before the shooter had been killed and taken care of, while the cops were still outside when they arrived. And him and his team, they had a cover, and they didn't know, and a lot of people don't realize this, but when there's a school shooting, and people need to understand this, that when there's a school shooting, because I didn't know this, they send the parents to 2 different facilities. A group of parents go to one facility, and another group of parents and family members go to another facility. And so Gavin got sent, and him and his team and his reporter, they get sent to the one gym there in Uvalde. And the facility they get sent to is the facility where the parents find out that their sons, daughters, or teachers, or people in the school find out that they're deceased and they didn't survive. And so I hear Gavin tell me this story and tell his mom that story that night after the shooting, that he heard people wailing and screaming as loud as he's ever heard that in his whole life, and that he didn't know if he could ever get rid of that sound. And he was there the whole time. Him and his team did such a good job after the first initial week, because he stayed there the whole week after the shooting. They assigned them to travel with the different family members there in Uvalde, and they basically embedded with them for 12 months. And so it was the story, if you look it up, the follow-up was 12 months of Uvalde. And him and his reporter, they stayed there the whole time, drove back and forth, any story, anything like that. The compassion as a parent, right? And this as a dad, because you hope when you raise your kids that they have compassion, love, and understanding for other human beings, right? Well, they know how to work hard, they know how to do that, and at some point they can understand how to take care of other human beings on this planet. And I watched him do it for 12 months. And I listened to him talk to his mom, because there's a lot of times Gavo and I don't get on the phone a lot, and I listen to him talk and stuff to his mom, and I hear what's going on. But to watch him do the story and be around those people and the kids that survived, that he interviewed and he wrote stories about, and he shot the stories, and they did it with such class and such professionalism, and they took care of those people just like you would hope that they would. I tell him all the time, and I told him the night after he won it, that it was the classiest thing I'd ever seen a group of people do, because we all know, right, that they could have used that in a way just to publicize themselves or sell it or whatever it was, and they didn't. I mean, I have pictures of him sitting with one of the survivors, and she's sitting underneath his tripod while he's filming another story. And that girl's sitting, that little kid is sitting there, and and the parents and all that. And so he knows it, and I tell him all the time how proud I am of him and how proud his mom is of him. But man, as a dad, of what you want it to look like, right? And he's gonna be 30 this summer, and he's still a kid. He'll always be in kindergarten or 8-year-old in the U-Haul with me driving someplace. But man, it was awesome. It was awesome to see, and it was just, I mean, to be able to do it and not just lose yourself or and understand that you're there to do a story and protect those people and do it the right way, and how important that story is. Because so many people, right, you see it, you hear it happen, right, and we're like, oh, that's just another shooting. That's just another. It's not, though. It's not. It's not when you understand, right, and you can see it and you can touch it with somebody that's lived with it. It is such an epidemic in our country that when kids can't go to school and we have to worry about it on a daily basis of gun violence in our country, it's so unacceptable. It's so unacceptable for Americans, for us to be so worried about that it's unbelievable. Like I can't even. You're gonna get me on a whole nother topic, but no, I am immensely proud of that guy for what he's always done. I mean, and to be the first one and to win it and win it with class, I guess is probably the nicest and the neatest thing I could see ever happen. And a couple of the officials that were on the crew tonight were standing with me because we were going through our pregame talk, and my nephew comes out on the field and tells me, and I start crying right on the field. And they're like, Coach, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, this is one of the best nights of my life. My son just won an Emmy. He won an Emmy. And it's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thanks.